And joining me now from the City of Detroit Neighborhoods Department is Gary Bulluck. He's the manager of District 3, where Conant Gardens is located. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you very much.
You know, watching that clip, you get a couple of really clear messages. One, this is a part of the city that has an incredibly rich history, although you probably say that about almost any neighborhood in the city. But that history is still present in not only people who were around for it, but people who are there now who are very connected to it. And that, I always think, is one of the strengths we have in neighborhoods here that I don't necessarily see in other cities as deeply as we do in Detroit. That history connected to the present is one of the ways that we bring neighborhoods back, or hope to at least.
And certainly the efforts they've made over there to bridge the generation gap. And so you really have a senior population, you know, telling the story and telling the history of that community to a newer generation that is not always grounded in where it comes from and what the current status is and how they got there.
Right, and for them, what they see is all they can imagine, perhaps in the neighborhood, but of course it used to be so much more than what it was.
Absolutely, and the storytelling that's behind that really creates that visual of, you know, these were properties built from the ground up for minorities, for first-time homeowners. So it really creates a visual history of, you know, what you can achieve and what you can strive for.
Yeah.
So certainly.
Yeah. Let's, for the viewers, give them an idea of Conant Gardens, where that is, how big of an area we're talking about in the city.
So it's located in City Council District 3, which District 3 runs from Kelly over to about John R., 8 Mile, and then south to the Hamtramck-Highland Park border along 94. And so Conant Gardens sits at Nevada, 7 Mile, Conant, and Ryan.
Right. So east side, but north.
North, considered northeast, 48234 area code. Pershing High School is right in the footprint of Conant Gardens.
Yeah. And what are some of the things that you, as the District 3 manager, have learned about the building blocks that are available to try to revive neighborhoods like that? I mean, you've got Conant Gardens there, you've got Osborne nearby as well. They all have similar challenges, but they also have distinct, I feel like, characters that might lead us to figure out how to get them going.
Well, I think Conant Gardens has the nucleus of, you have an older generation that is determined to see that area continue and be a premier area on the east side. And so you have the history and you have the tenacity of that group, the Conant Gardens Homeowner Association and the Conant Gardeners. I think that's evident in a lot of areas of the city. I think they feel a special need to preserve this history for the next generation. And when Mayor Duggan came in, one of the first charges he gave us in the District 3 staff is that we need to do something to make sure this is there's longevity here. So we identified that area as one of high priority for demolitions. We're encouraging homeowners who to buy the vacant lot so they can preserve and control how that neighborhood looks in the next 10 plus years.
Yeah. Well, put that neighborhood in the context of other neighborhoods in the district in terms of that problem of blight and abandonment. Is it the worst? Is it in the middle?
It probably falls middle plus.
Yeah.
And so one of the criteria for us to really work in some parts of the city is that there needed to be some level of density. And so it certainly has the level of density.
It does have that.
Yeah, it does have density. You know, it's not as big area as some of the other areas that we've targeted, but I think because you have the stable and the diverse types of homes that are over there and the level of home ownership. So our goal was to really look into neighborhoods like that and say, how can we push it, you know, forward instead of where it's on the tipping point of coming down. And so that's why we did the demolitions. We look at vacant properties that are owned by absentee landlords and bring them to court and say, hey, you know what, this is a solid neighborhood and we need you to step up or move out the way and let us take this property and put it in the hands of someone who wants to live in it and make a useful asset to the neighborhood. Yeah.
And what's been the response of people in the neighborhoods to the changeover? I mean, this is the first time in a long time in Detroit that we have this system of districts to begin with on council, but then the mayor mimicked that system in appointing district managers to each of the districts. What have residents told you about what they expect from you and then what they think they're getting.
Well, they expect the world, certainly, and the
They're
part
Detroiters.
yes, they're Detroiters, and having someone in city government who's directly tied to the mayor's office as accountable, I think makes the biggest difference. They see, they have our cell phone numbers, they're texting us, they're sending us pictures of blight when they see dumping, when city services aren't up to par, they're calling us directly, and I think because the mayor's platform for running was that every neighborhood has a future and a 10-point plan to say, how do we stabilize our neighborhoods where our children, where our people live, where they can have a place to live, work, and play that's as pleasant as any place else. And so putting us there has made the city government that much more accessible. And then the mayor certainly is out. We have house meetings where he goes and sits in neighborhood homes and say, tell me what I'm doing good and tell me what you want to see. And so he has that direct feedback from residents, and he has that direct feedback from us. And if you look at what we call Opportunity Detroit on the city's webpage, there's a segment for each one, whether it's jobs, whether it's improving your neighborhood, whether it's becoming involved. There's resources and ways for residents to become involved, and I think you see that so strongly in the Kona Gardens area.
We've got about a minute left.
Sure.
Let me ask you about the importance of shoring up the neighborhood for people who are there versus trying to make the neighborhood attractive to people either who live in other neighborhoods or who live outside the city. How do you guys sort of balance that question?
So I think we go into it looking at that we're concerned about the asset that is there, the person who's lived there 25 years.
Right.
If someone on the outside sees that momentum and feels that vibe, like this community is coming together and wants to join board, we have no problem with that. But it's not our goal to say we want to make this so great that you get another 150 residents to move in there. That's a byproduct of the good work that we're going to continue to do through all the neighborhoods in Detroit, is make them attractive, make them places where people live, work, and play, and say, I'm proud of this neighborhood. I live in Kona Gardens. I live at Van Dyke and 7 Mile, and I'm a proud neighbor there. And just raise their expectations of what the city can do for them.
So growth is not necessarily the goal so much as just stability.
I won't say it's not a goal. We need more residents in Detroit. We need that to build our tax base.
Sure.
But we need to honor those that have, people say, stuck it out. I've been here and I've not left. I'm paying my taxes. And so we recognize the building blocks to a larger Detroit, a more robust Detroit, is starting with our strongest neighborhoods and helping them stop the years of decline.
Sure.
Yeah, certainly.
Well, as we could see in the piece, there's already some momentum taking shape in the Kona Gardens.
Yeah, we're excited. We've sold homes there, and we're going to continue to do so and build one block at a time.
All right. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.